A common question asked when it comes to the topic of domestic violence awareness is, where are the men? It's not uncommon to see a room full of women when domestic abuse is the topic at hand, but the Family Crisis Center of Prince George's County is changing things. Thanks for joining us on Chats for Change. On today's Wake Up Call, we're highlighting an event that took place right here in Prince George's County, giving men a pivotal platform in the conversation of domestic abuse awareness. Check out the promo ad for the Family Crisis Center's men's initiative, Band of Brothers.
Hey, reaching out to all the brothers, asking you to come on out to the Band of Brothers event.
I'm super excited to be a part of the Band of Brothers event going on at Prince George's County Community College on Saturday, October 7th. Listen, there's a whole host of reasons why you need to be in the building.
It's going to be a unique opportunity for men to get together and discuss our issues in our family. Domestic violence is not a blame session. Definitely not a blame session. It's a time for men to get together and discuss what's going on in our families.
Me and my band of brothers will be there to educate, uplift, and inspire, and be interactive, asking for your input about how we can utilize coping skills to repair, heal, and have healthy and wholesome relationships.
Many of us have been reared to get it together, suck it up, man up, and we often don't have a safe place to be vulnerable. And I want you to know that this Band of Brothers event is a safe place for you and I to be vulnerable.
Let's have a conversation, and I mean a conversation, about domestic violence, what contributes to it, why it happens, and let's see what we can do about reducing and hopefully eventually eliminating domestic violence in our community.
So at Prince George's Community College, October 7th, 2017. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a time where we can talk, discuss, and really wrap some things, peel back the onion, and find out what are the causes.
Saturday, October 7th, Prince George County Community College. The event is free, but you do need to register. You can go to fccpg.org to register. Again, that's fccpg.org to register. And let's get together and fortify one another as a band of brothers. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Now, this event garnered a lot of attention across the DMV, and the mastermind behind Band of Brothers was our very own Sophie Ford. How are you, Sophie?
I'm great, thank you.
And of course, Band of Brothers got a lot of attention. A lot of folks are still raving about it. Where did the idea come from? What sparked the idea for you?
Yeah, so the idea really came from a lot of conversations that were happening around the issue of domestic violence, but I felt like they weren't complete. And so a lot of people, when they talk about this issue, they want to really look at solutions, and we should, but I felt like they weren't complete conversations because men were being left out of that conversation as a vital part of the solution process. And so I thought to myself, you know, for Family Crisis Center being the kind of trailblazers that we are, we could take the lead on making that happen.
And we did just that. Was the day what you visioned it to be?
It was, and more. It really was, because even leading up to the event, we got a lot of inquiries, a lot of feedback, which was phenomenal to let us know that we were on the right path with what we were doing. And then on the day of, we got a lot of similar feedback, people who really walked away with some tangible things that they could use from the moment they left us, and that's what the goal was for the day.
And of course, I was there. An interesting thing, we had the men walk through the door, but the women came as well.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing was a lot of women wanted to be in the room, a part of the conversation, even though it was for men by men. And you did something unique. You allowed the women to come first half, and then you didn't care whether it was 5 or 10. You were adamant, no women in the room after when it came to the solution set in part 2 of the day. Two-part question. Why was that necessary, that the men had their own space absent of women? And then also, where do women fit in the conversation when we talk about these different solution sets for men as it relates to domestic abuse?
Men having their own space was so important because they don't often have that.
Right.
Women, we create those spaces for ourselves, whether it just be in the comfort of our home or we have them at church, we have them in the work. There's so many different ways that we are able to communicate with each other and really express the emotional side of where we are. Men don't often have that opportunity for a variety of reasons. And one of the key reasons is that they're not supposed to. Men are not supposed to share. They're not supposed to communicate in a way that's that's emotional, that's vulnerable, and all of those things. And so because of that, not only did we want to provide the platform for that to happen, but felt like in order for that to really, really take place, we needed them to feel secure in the fact that they could strip down as vulnerable as they needed to be and not have to worry about looking or feeling a certain way in front of women. Yeah.
And to the female piece, the women inclusion piece, how important is it that women are a part of that conversation?
It's important, but I think in a way that makes sense. Again, if you want men to communicate, and any, not just men, but if you're trying to really put a solution in place, you want to be respectful of the key players in that process. And so we definitely, like you said, no matter where you were, you had to leave if you were a woman after a certain time, and people were not happy about that. And I was okay with that, because what I heard from the men that were in that space was that we needed that. And it was good that they left, because now we can talk in a way that makes sense to us, and we can connect in a way that makes sense to us without having to worry about offending and different things like that. And so we will welcome the women at a certain point, but after that, they were excluded.
Understandable. And a common statement we hear is that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. If the communication effort is that far apart, what are some of the initiatives, just easy things folks can do at home to bring the two different conversation styles together to better help with connection, communication, and peace in relationship? What are some of those skill sets you think that men could take from Band of Brothers and utilize in their everyday lives?
I think just being respectful of the fact that we are different. Even though we're both inside of this relationship, we're different. Our needs are different. The way we communicate those things are different. So just respecting that. And I think even with that respect, if we can get on the same page about what our goal is, whatever we're communicating about, then that makes the process a lot easier. I think the other thing inside of our relationships that we might want to look at getting away from is this win-lose thing. And so again, if we're working toward a common goal, then nobody wins, nobody loses. What do we bring together in order to achieve that goal, whatever that is? And that can help in terms of the language we use, how we communicate, anger, some of the things that kind of go on inside of communication patterns that don't lend to healthy relationships.
Wonderful. And moving forward, what is your goal and your hope for Band of Brothers?
Yes, so that was the first of several events. So really our vision at FCC is to pick that up and have now smaller scale community events where we maintain the connection that was established that day and really expand it to include different men. And we're doing that in a way that's strategic and including men in spaces that are safe for them. So maybe barbershops and other places like that that make sense.
It was a great event. Thank you so much for putting it all together. So where are the men? That's what we're talking about. We've got one right here on Chats for Change. Ron LeGrand, a trailblazer in domestic violence prevention, joins us right after this.